Hey, here we are, everybody. Sorry about the delay. I know I'm a couple minutes late, but you got to look at that really fancy splash screen I had there, huh? Hey, thank you guys all for joining me on this Thanksgiving Day live stream. It looks like, I was looking through the chat, it looked like a lot of you are from outside of the US, which is great because probably a lot of people in the US are busy doing things on this Thanksgiving holiday. But this is gonna be a lot of fun. What do you think? What do you think of my festive shop here? Does it look pretty good? I know I posted a picture of that on Instagram and it looked so festive in here. So I've got Wyatt with me. How's the stream looking? I don't know if they can see you over there. You can come over here for a second. Hi, Wyatt's with me. So he's going to be like manning the chat. So if you want to say hi to Wyatt, you can. He's got my Chromebook over there. And so it seem like it's streaming all right? Yeah. Voice sounds good? Okay, great.
A bit behind, it's kind of throwing me off, but you know, it's going good.
I know, it's weird because when you do these live streams, there's like what was it, like 15-second delay or 30?
It's like 30 seconds.
It's a long delay. It's really weird, so it's kind of hard to keep up with that. So anyways, let me talk to you a minute about what my idea here is that it all started from back last month when I posted a video about my old videos and how I wish I could remove those sponsored spots from those videos. And then I thought, well, maybe I should just do that and post the videos. And then I thought, well, I don't know if that's such a good idea or not. I don't know if people would like to just see me posting a bunch of old videos. Then I thought, hey, this would be perfect for a live stream. This would be really fun because I can go in there and I can just edit out all of the junk on some of my old Christmas videos, project videos, and then show them to you guys. And then, of course, the funny thing is once I eliminated all the sponsored plugs and everything, the videos just shrunk down to practically nothing because back in 2013, 14, a long video on YouTube was 8 or 9 minutes, and now it's much longer. But so I would cut out all that stuff. And there's one video on here that's like literally a minute long. But you'll see that later. Anyways, I've got 12 of these. I wanted to start with that. It's a countdown calendar. They also called Advent calendars. I made a few of these. This was the first one. I probably shouldn't be walking away from the mic like that. I'm very not really professional at this kind of thing. So that one I made like in 2014, and I thought it was a really cool idea, and it's simple to make, and you just kind of make the shelves, and then you put candy in it. So every day of the month you get candy, and if making like 25 little boxes and wrapping 25 boxes sounds like fun to you, well, you will just love that project. So one other thing is if you go to the website, woodworkingformeremortals.com, you can do a search for now and you'll find plans if you want to make any of this stuff. But I'll try to, after this video is done live streaming, I'll go back and I'll put links down in the description. I probably should have done that ahead of time, but I wasn't being very proactive with that. So anyways, let's take a look at the 2014 countdown calendar. Here we go. Advent calendars are a great way to count down the days till Christmas. You start on December 1st and each day you get a new gift. 25 wrapped presents. Each day when you unwrap one, you get a candy. All of the boxes themselves are colorful, so they look nice when you put them back on the tree. The gift boxes are all 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, so I'll use a 2x4 to cut them all out. I'll cut out all of the individual cubes using my crosscut sled. Using my drill press, I'm going to drill about 3/4 of the way through each block. I'm going to set up each one so that I'm drilling down through the end grain. And 24 to go. And now I'm going into production sanding mode. Mostly I just want to soften all of the edges so they aren't so sharp. Now I can cut out the tree shape on my bandsaw. I'm using 1/4" MDF for the shelves. I'm gonna bevel the ends of these shelves at 20 degrees to match the angle of the tree. Then I'll just line up this bevel with this side of the tree and mark this side. Looks like I need to shave a little bit more off this side. That's much better. I'm not going to need to clamp these shelves down when I glue them up. These grooves are pretty tight. Every year, the day after Christmas, my wife buys lots of wrapping paper. I've got different types of candy for these. One thing I was thinking would be kind of fun is if you just put a little note inside of each of these too. Some of these Dove candies are dark chocolate. There's so many of these to do, I decided to make a cutting template for the paper. So all the pieces of paper are going to be the same size, and it seems to be working out a little bit better. I'm using interior latex paint for the tree, and I want to get it done tonight so it'll have time to dry overnight. You can cut the base any shape you want, as long as you have one straight edge. So I'm just going to draw something on here freehand. I'm going to line up the two straight edges as I glue these together. With those two pieces dry, I'm going to cut out a notch for the tree trunk. I ended up with two extras. I got an extra that I haven't wrapped and a wrapped one. Ooh, I wonder what's in it. And we're back. Did you like the fancy transition? It's like this guy goes woo and flies back into there. So that was my first countdown calendar. I had a question in the chat from somebody asking if Germany is the only country that has 24 days on an advent calendar, or if it's 25. And you know, this is a conversation I've had whenever I've made those calendars, is should you have 25 or 24? Actually, I usually make 24, because I think that what you do is you start on December 1st with 24, and then you count down, and then number 1 means there's 1 day until Christmas. So number 1 is actually Christmas Eve. At least that's the way I think it makes sense. But you can do it. But you could do it either way, and so that's why on that one I did 25 boxes. I think I did 25. I don't remember if I think it was on that. But boy, that was a lot of wrapping on there. So I want to give a quick shout out to Adam Trapp. Adam, thank you so much for that super chat. That was really cool. And also Hella Kevin. And so we were wondering, it's either Hella Kevin or it's he like Vin. It's all one word, but thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm so glad you're here to join me for this kind of nostalgic look at old woodworking for mere mortals videos. So the next one I wanted to show you was this one. No. Oh, I don't have that one. Do I? The other.
Which one?
The 2015 calendar that I made. That was, this one right here. I forgot about that. So this is the one I made in 2015, and so what you do is these blocks come out, and you switch them around, and you count down the days till Christmas that way. And I thought that was just like an awesome design. This is actually probably, I think this is my favorite Christmas decoration that I've ever made. I really love that thing, and I think that the idea of the blocks was really clever, and the idea of coming up with the 6 and the 9s, you just interchange it, and it worked out. It worked out really nice, and it's really one of my. The only problem with that one is that there's no gift every day, and so it's not really a traditional Advent calendar. So there's no lure of candy to to change the letter or the numbers on there. So chances are you're just going to forget to change those numbers. But I think it really looks cool. So we'll see if we can cue that one up here, and I'll show it to you guys. Let's see. Is there any other questions? Oh, somebody was asking me if I was going to have a Black Friday sale. No, I don't really have any kind of special sales on the Weekend Woodwork. I presume that's kind of what you're talking about. But one of the ways you can help support Woodworking for Mere Mortals is just by giving this video a like and subscribing if you're not already subscribed. That really helps, especially since I've cut out all the sponsorship deals on there. And also, if you're interested in starting woodworking and want to check out those courses, just head over to theweekendwoodworker.com and you can get in the loop there. And I've got a new course coming out pretty soon. It's going to be, I'm going to make an announcement about that in just a week or two. Be a big announcement about that. So that's coming up. So
foreshadowing.
I know, it's like that's called a teaser.
Yeah.
Or a teaser ad or something like that. I got to learn more marketing skills on this. Let's see. Okay, so let's go play the Santa House Countdown Calendar. This is from November 2015 is when I made this video. And watch, here comes the fancy transition again. You watching? Christmas is right around the corner, but if you make this countdown calendar before December 1st, you'll be able to count down all the days to Christmas. I cut these two boards to make the shelf that the cubes will sit on. I want the cubes to stick out just a little bit from the front so that you can grab them. So I'll just mark somewhere around in here. So that cleat will stop these cubes from going too far in. I'm going to use thinner plywood for the sides, and I need to cut bevels on it that are going to match this angle. Well, I hope you enjoyed the Santa's Toy Shop countdown calendar. It's gonna be fun counting down the days till Christmas. I like to start on December 1st with 24 showing. The trick to making sure you have all 24 days covered lies in these cubes. This cube is numbered from 0 to 5. This cube has 0, 1, 2, and then it's got 6, 7, and 8, but the 6 is also used as a 9. If you'd like to make one of these yourself, check down in the description for a free set of plans. And we're back. I hope I didn't cut that one off too soon. Hey, somebody said that they think that the videos were too loud compared to me doing the live part, and it's just because I don't have any idea what I'm doing, frankly. But this, I think maybe it's because I'm not close enough to the microphone. Hello. So maybe I should do that. I don't know. Or I could probably figure this out, but I probably shouldn't figure it out while I'm doing the live show. So just bear with me. And I also think that I spoke a lot louder in older videos too. And a lot of times those really old videos, I was just shooting with, you know, a potato, basically. Let's see. We had a couple of interesting. Oh, I know. It was Animation Create. And he had a funny comment. Animations Creations 42. What was it he said?
It's not an advent calendar unless it has awful cheap chocolate in it.
I don't know if you heard that or not. It's not an advent calendar unless it has awful cheap chocolate in it. That's so true. You get those ones. Remember those cardboard ones? Yeah. And you would pull. And it's like, I'll bet that candy's been in there for like, you know, a year. They make these things and you eat that gross chocolate. Anyways, welcome everybody to my Thanksgiving live stream. If you've just joined us, I'm showing a bunch of old Christmas projects and Christmas. Let's see, there's toys and there's decorations. Those are kind of your two categories of Christmas projects. And so I just did the two decorations, one the Advent calendar. And if you're going to make one of those countdown calendars, you know, you got to do it now. Basically, you got to do it this weekend because next week is December 1st. So I just thought I would show those first. I don't know why. It doesn't really make any difference. Nobody watching this is going to go right out and just start making that right now. But so I want to get onto a toy project. Now, this next one is, hopefully some of you remember this. This was a toy truck that I made out of a 2x4, just a 2x4 board. And the thing about this I think is so cool is that it's modular. So all the pieces come off of it. It's got like a trailer hitch on it for like a tractor trailer. And then it's got a camper that goes on it. And I thought it was really cool. Plus I had enough left over of that 2x4 that I could make blocks that would fit inside of that tractor trailer. I thought it was a really cool project. And I also wanted to give you a YouTube recommendation. This is one of my favorite channels I've been following for a while now, and it's, if you are interested in making wooden toys, follow Jolene Breebles, or I think it's Yolene Breebles. Do you have a link for her channel?
I've got one. It'll be in chat.
Okay, he'll put it in the chat. But anyways, she does some amazing stuff, and her channel is just, it deserves way more subscribers and attention than she has right now. So go over there and check it out and give her a follow. I think she does some really cool stuff. It's really fun to see people make toys. So anyways, check her out. And if you like what you're seeing here, just give this video a like. I'd appreciate that. And let's move on to the toy truck video. Here we go. Comes fancy transition again. This week on Woodworking for Mere Mortals, I've got this really fun, really easy to make modular toy truck. It's modular because the truck has a hole in it that all of these components drop into. You've got kind of a pickup truck bed, you've got a camper, and you've got the tractor trailer rig. And I made a bunch of blocks for it to haul. The best part about this project is that the wood will cost you under $5. A single 2x4 will be more than enough for this project. I'll start by cutting it down to rough, oversized lengths. I need to glue up 2 blocks for the truck and 3 blocks for the camper. And while those are drying, I can cut out the pieces for the trailer and the pickup truck bed. The edges of 2x4s are kind of rounded over, so I like to cut those off and square them up first. To cut these into thin pieces, I'm going to use the same technique I used in last week's project and hot glue them to the sled. I can set the width by butting it up to this miter gauge. I can safely cut these out without getting my fingers close to the blade. Now I can return to this block for the truck and paste on this cutting template. And I'll cut out the camper the same way. I need to make holes for the axles, and I just realized I kind of screwed this up. I get these wheels at a craft store, and these are bigger than I thought they were, and the idea was I would drill an axle hole all the way through and they would sit in like that. The problem is that it extends up above this part, so if I put the trailer on there, it's going to hit that. And if I move the wheel down far enough, there's not going to be enough room to drill the hole. It's going to be right here on the edge. So you know what that means is that now gives us a design option. I think what I'll do is cut some slots that I could drop the axles into. I've marked where I want those axles to go, and I'll use my crosscut sled to make those shallow cuts. I'll drop the axle into that slot and then cover it up with a thin piece of wood. And I cut slots in this block for the trailer wheel. I'll drill a hole here for the little trailer hitch thingy. I'm going to stop it before it gets all the way through so it doesn't hit the axle. And I'll drill holes for the accessories. I'm going to assemble all the wheels and axles now. Using these slots is actually easier than if I drilled the holes. I cut out these thin pieces of plywood and I'll glue them on using weld bond. Mostly I want to make sure I don't get any glue on the axle. Well, I had so much of that 2x4 left over, I thought I would cut it up into blocks that fit inside the trailer. I want to thank viewer of the show Gene Simmons, no, not that Gene Simmons, for inspiring me to build this project well over a year ago. I'm glad I could finally get around to making it. If you'd like to make your own, please check down in the description for a free set of plans. Hey everybody. How did you like that transition? It was a cube this time. There's a whole bunch of these I can just choose from, whatever I want. But it was really funny because there was a comment, and the reason why I changed it is because it was from Dave Kelly in the chat, who said that those fancy transitions give it that corporate training feel, or corporate training video. That is so true. It's like we saw this video on like the whole whole corporate training music, right?
Yeah.
It was like this is like a genre of music that just exists for corporate training films and these kind of things, and it's just like the most bland kind of music you can make. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Cello91. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate that. It was really nice of you. I wasn't expecting anybody to do that kind of stuff. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful Thanksgiving. And for those of you outside of the US, I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. I use that joke every year.
Every year, yeah.
That's my favorite dad joke, I guess. Hey, hope you're having a good Thursday. But so does anybody really like turkey? I know everybody's going to say they love turkey, but I'm not a fan of turkey.
It's definitely like a mid-tier poultry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nothing can beat out the almighty pigeon.
Pigeon, yeah. Turkey is okay if it just has to be like slathered in gravy, really. I'm not a fan of turkey. We didn't even get a whole big turkey this year. We just got like a turkey roast or something. I don't know, it's a little thing because I'm not that big of a fan. Let's see, moving on. We got another toy project. Okay, don't forget to check out that channel I was telling you about too. That was really cool. So, next toy project. Do you know that I have made 2 toy ducks in the course of my channel? This is one of them. Remember that? And that's my Nightmare Before Christmas bullet hole riddled duck. That's not the one I'm going to show here. That's not a very...
Should be the one you show.
I gave this to Wyatt. He really liked it. He keeps it
Cool.
in his room. But no, not that one. The one I want to show you is this Duckie Pull Toy, which is the total opposite of that because they are just adorable, these 3 ducks. And when I was watching this video, I was thinking back on it, and if there's one regret I have about this project and this video, well, not the video, the project, is that the wheels, they don't waddle, So if you're going to make that, you should like offset the wheels so that the ducks waddle. Right now, they could just roll around and everything. But I just still think it's a super cute project. And if you have any toddlers in your life, they would probably love it. They'll have hours of fun. Nah, not really. They'll pull it for a little while and amuse you, and then they'll be on to something else.
I'd give it maybe 2 minutes.
It's a really cute project. Anyways, here's the Duckie Pull Toy from, what year did 2013. So this is a pretty old one too. This one's going back a ways. Okay, here comes cube transition. I'm attaching these templates to boards that are 1.5 inches thick. If you don't have anything like that, you can glue together 2 3/4 inch boards or even a couple of 2x4s. These duck shapes are simple enough that you could just cut them out using a jigsaw if you don't have a bandsaw. The babies are basically the same, only their heads are proportionally bigger. These are 1/4 inch holes for the axles. And I'm reaming these out a little bit so that the axle will spin better. And of course, since this is a toy, I'm going to round over all the sharp edges. This is a great project if you just love sanding things. I'll glue all of the wings to the bodies and tack them down with my pin nailer. I picked up all of these wheels at the craft store real inexpensively, and I know that they're all the right size and perfectly round and already sanded. To attach these, I'm just running the 1/4-inch dowel through the hole and then twisting these into place. Just a dot of glue in here will hold it. I really want to thank you for watching this week's episode of Woodworking for Mere Mortals. If you'd like to make your own Duck Family Pull Toy, check in the description for a free set of plans. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me and the Duck family. I'll see you guys next week. Hey. Wow, how about that jazzy music I had in that video, huh? And then at the end, that was Stormageddon. I forgot about Stormageddon. Yes. Back in, what year was that? 2013? 2013. Stormageddon, yeah. And that wasn't, I'm looking at the, I don't think it was 2013. I was looking at the wrong, it might have been, oh, it's 5 years ago. Yeah, that must have been it. But yeah, and then, you know what's funny is that now in Southern California, it's Stormageddon again right now.
Stormageddon.
We kind of lucked out of it. We had our first rain of the season a couple days ago, and for like 10 minutes it rained really hard. It was like hurricane, but then it stopped. But I think we're in for another round of that, which of course is good because we need rain always in California. It's completely dry all the time, and then they shut off our power, and we don't like that. So let's see, anything else that I wanted to mention? Did you guys like the Duck Pull Toy? It needed to wobble, though, don't you think?
No, it needs to be this one.
You want to come over here?
Yeah, I'll come over here. Here.
Here's Wyatt. He's manning the chat and kind of helping me with all the technical stuff, sort of.
With all the technical stuff, sort of.
So, how's it going over there?
It's going.
Yeah. And you enjoying doing this?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's always fun to just see what people are talking about in the chat.
Right. It is. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to move on here. In case you've just joined us, welcome to my Thanksgiving live stream. I was going to say marathon. It's not a marathon like I did last time. This time it's like an hour. There's 12 videos, and they're all shortened down because what I've done is I've removed all of the sponsored stuff, all of the junk in them, and so it's the meat of those videos. You just get the pure content in those things. And if you enjoy watching this, please consider heading over to theweekendwoodworker.com and seeing what offers I have over there for woodworking courses if you're interested in starting your own woodworking. I was going to say woodworking business. That didn't make any sense. It's just woodworking. If you want to start woodworking, check it out. But here's a good transition, sort of. If you are a woodworker and are interested in selling projects, this next video is these wooden snowflakes I made. This is the oldest video that's on this in this stream. This was back in 2012 I made this video. I had older videos I was thinking about including, but I couldn't I just couldn't edit those, and some of those I don't have the original files. It was kind of dumb. The first couple years I was making videos, I didn't save anything. I just deleted everything when I was done uploading it to YouTube. So I had to download the videos from YouTube actually so that I could edit them, and some of these again that I was shooting with the potato camera were just almost impossible to re-edit and get them down to something watchable, I think. But this snowflake one I think is pretty good, and I managed to kind of edit it and bring up the brightness a little bit in it so you can see what's going on a little bit better than it was. But anyways, this is a really cool project that you can make snowflakes, you can batch them out. And this is back when snowflakes were just snowflakes. Back in 2012. It was a simpler time back then. So you can make them. And so, you know, you could also use them as throwing stars.
Yeah,
they're
or
like
coasters.
Shuriken or coasters.
On.
But the idea here is that you batch these things out and you make them all on the table saw. Okay, so I actually explained this in the video, but this guy sent me these snowflakes, and I looked at them. I thought, wow, that's really cool. They look like scroll saw, you know, made on a scroll saw. And no, they're all made on the table saw and a router, using a really cool technique that each one can be different. Well, each batch can be different, and then you slice them up. But here's the thing, going back to what I was originally talking about, where if you want to make some money selling things in woodworking, is these snowflakes. I've seen these kind of snowflakes selling for up to $20. They're ornaments, Christmas tree ornaments. And you could literally make each one of these for like a nickel, 5 cents. There's like nothing. It doesn't cost anything except your time. And the way that they are made into like these snowflake logs, and then you just slice them up, it's really inexpensive. It's a great profit margin if that's your thing. But I think it's a really cool technique. So we'll check it out, and I'm going to do the wipe transition this time. I'm playing with the transitions. Yeah, it's called wipe. All right, you ready for this? Okay, here's the snowflake ornaments from 2012. Here we go. Sorry about that. You know what I did is I didn't queue up the actual video. It was just black. It was just blankness. It was my most existential video ever. This is just like, here's the snowflakes, just nothing. Just enjoy nothingness.
Enjoy the void.
I think I have it now. And well, now that I've done the wipe, it's kind of like old hat. Now I should do something. Let's do zoom. Okay, here's zoom. Here we go. I recently got a package in the mail from Dwayne Kriebel down in Kentucky at Spheramid Woodworks. He sent me a whole bunch of wooden snowflakes. And when I first looked at them, I thought that they were scroll sawn. But no, there's a special technique to making these. He does make a lot of these. In fact, he has specially dedicated table saws and routers set up just so he can crank these things out. And they're not very difficult to make. Let me show you how. I'm going to begin by tipping my table saw blade to exactly 30 degrees. I've made up a real simple crosscut sled with a 30-degree cut in it. I'm using 6-inch wide poplar. My first cut is going to be long, and it's just going to be for a push stick. I want to set up a stop block so that each piece that I cut is going to be the same width as the thickness of my board. I think this board is about 3/4 inch board, so I'm just going to try to roughly set it up like this. And I'll make a test cut. Now to test it and make sure that I've got it the right size, I'll just flip it over and check it against the end grain, which obviously it's not matching up. So I need to adjust my stop block a little bit. And again, I'll check the face grain and the end grain, and this time that looks perfect. Each set of snowflakes is going to need 6 of these strips, but it's probably a good idea to cut 7 so you have one to do some tests on. Here's how I'm going to make my push block. I've got little strips of wood that I've cut, and I'm just going to hot glue them to my push block, but I don't want them to extend any further than one of those strips. I want to glue one on this side just to act as a backer board. And there's my custom push block. Now comes the fun part. It's just a matter of making a series of grooves in each of these pieces by tipping your table saw blade at various angles, changing the depth of it, changing the distance that you set up your fence. You can also take it over to the router and use a combination of router bits on these. Just let your imagination run wild. Be sure and make them all the same on each of the 6 pieces so your snowflakes will be symmetrical. Kind of start to test them by just putting them together with rubber bands. It's kind of tricky, but it gives you an idea of what they're going to look like. And you can actually do it as soon as you cut them, such as on this piece, just to make sure your 30-degree angles are all correct and that they fit well together. So to glue these up, you want to glue them up first in pairs by gluing together the 2 face grain sides on each of them. Now I can glue all 3 of these into a snowflake log. And I'll clamp it together with rubber bands. To sand these, I've got some of this anti-slip shelf liner squishy stuff, and it seems to work out really well. Well, I've spray lacquered all of my snowflakes and they kind of look like a tray of Christmas cookies sitting here right now. And there's how my snowflakes turned out. I'd like to show you a bunch of pictures of some of the snowflakes that Dwayne sent me. You can pause and look at those and examine them and try to figure out what sets of router bits and blades he used to make those. Hey, and I'm back. Did you like the snowflakes? And I didn't wipe it to black this time either. That was very disturbing. I could just feel people just leaving the video, just like disliking it.
It's too avant-garde.
It's just way too avant-garde for Thanksgiving. Oh, speaking of Thanksgiving, here's a movie recommendation for you, okay? Thanksgiving. Look it up. If you got Amazon, it's on Prime. It is the most bizarre, funniest Thanksgiving movie ever. It's this turkey who goes on this like killing rampage, and it's just like this. It's like a puppet turkey, but I think it's funny. Check it out. Check it out. Thanksgiving. And let's see. Oh, got some super chats. I want to thank Jason Sullivan. Jason.
No, Jason Sullivan, yeah.
Yep, Jason Sullivan. Thank you. And Rick Danatali, thank you so much. Really appreciate that, and happy Thanksgiving. Jeremiah Ulchin, thank you. I'm going to guess that he is from...
Guess it?
Norway?
Nope.
Sweden.
Close. It's Germanic. I looked it up, it said Germany.
Oh, Ulchin.
Ulchin.
Thanks, Jeremiah. And Nancy Gross, thank you. I love those stickers on there. Those are really, those are super cool. So I'm going through here. What do I want to play next? What do I want to play next? And I think since I did those decorative ones, I think I'll go back to doing a toy. And I wanted to do my toy planes. A lot of you made these. This is probably the project of mine that I've made that more people have made, because this was originally for my first Maker's Care campaign. And if you remember back when I was doing the Maker's Care fundraiser for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we would make these planes, and then we would raise money for charity. And people still ask me about Maker's Care and if it's coming back, and I would love to. And it's one of the things I've been talking a lot about and trying to figure out how we can bring back Maker's Care and make it useful, make it make sense, because what was happening is like the second or third year that we did it, like each year I would notice that the participation in it would go down each time, and so it ended up like costing me more to run that than the amount of donations that we were making. And I was thinking, well, this is ridiculous. My whole point of this is I wanted to donate money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I might as well just do those donations myself rather than, you know what I mean? So it didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I'd like to revisit that and maybe expand it a little bit in some way that makes sense, so we can make some real difference. And you know, even though we did a pretty good job, I think we raised like over $5,000 for Make-A-Wish, and that first year was great making these planes, but I just wish there was more way that we could make that effective. So I've talked to some people about this, and we're kind of working on it, and maybe next year we'll be able to do that. But I don't think it needs to be a participation kind of thing where you have to make something. I think that was probably something that held a lot of people back. They just, you know, but a lot of people did make planes, and it wasn't just these planes. You could make any plane. You could even make a paper airplane, and then I would donate to the thing. So that was a really cool year. But these are the planes that I made, and there's two, because I have two versions. You can make just a single, what do you call it if there's just one wing on it? There's a biplane version, and then there's the single wing.
Monoplane?
Monoplane, I guess that's what they're called. But so you can make either version, and I thought it was a really fun project to make, and you guys might enjoy it too. So once again, I'll be putting links to all of these things down in the description when I'm done here. I've got to go through and put those, or you can just go to my website at woodworkingformeremortals.com, and there's a little search button on there, and you can search for whatever project you want. You can find the plans there, although most of these are pretty simple. You might not even need the plans, but this one you probably would, the toy planes. This is a really cool project, so I hope you guys enjoy the toy planes. And are you ready? Ready for the transition? Now the transitions are just a thing now.
What are you doing now?
I'm gonna go with the cube zoom. So it's two things. I mean, not just the cube, and it's not gonna go to black this time. It's gonna go to the actual video. Okay. So it's not just the cube. I thought the cube was kind of lame, really, because I thought it was gonna be like 3D cube. No, it's not. It just went blue. Yeah. So this time it's a cube zoom, which presumably it cubes, but it also like goes, zooms, right? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Here we go. After downloading and printing out this cutting template, I can cut out all of the pieces and paste them to the boards using spray adhesive. I'm going to use my bandsaw to cut these out. Other options would be a scroll saw or a jigsaw or even a handsaw. I want the wings to be thinner than the fuselage, so I'm resawing it into two pieces. If you're going to make the biplane, drill out these holes for the struts before you split the wing into two pieces. That way they'll all line up. I also need to split the wood in half for the rear stabilizer wing and the propeller. I want to spend a lot of time sanding and shaping everything just to make sure it's really smooth. I'm going to mark where I need to drill these holes now so I can peel off the paper. I'll use a roundover bit to round over the edges of the fuselage. For the thinner pieces, I'll just have to round them over by hand using sandpaper. Now I can drill the holes for the dowels that are going to hold the wheels. Trying to make your own wheels and make them perfectly round is really difficult. I recommend just buying wheels at the craft store. Now I can glue these dowels into those little holes. The important part here is that both of these holes line up so the axle can go through them. So I'm going to use this dowel for the axle, and I can just twist these into place. And make sure it spins freely. I'll glue this tailpiece into place. These 4 dowels are going to be the struts that hold the 2 wings of the biplane together. Now I can glue the wings on. The axle is going to spin freely. I'm going to glue the wheels onto the ends. And I just want to make sure I don't get any glue on the little posts. Okay, I'll let that dry and cut off those ends. Now I can attach the propeller. And I'll countersink that hole. I'll protect these by applying a few coats of spray lacquer. Well, I think those turned out pretty cool. In case you were wondering, that red wood is Paduk and the darker wood on this one is cherry. The biplane is all made out of pine. Don't forget, I've got free plans you can download down below in both Imperial and metric. And we're back. Did that video seem rather plain?
You stole that from chat.
I stole it from the chat. Who said that?
The Dr. 11.
The Dr. 11. Thank you. I love dad jokes like that.
If you can't find the plans for this project now, you could always just wing it.
I love those things. I don't know if you can hear Wyatt when he's over there, but I think that's pretty funny. So welcome again to my Thanksgiving stream, live show thing that we're doing here. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm having a lot of fun. Just kind of figuring out what to talk about on some of these videos, especially this next one. So this next one, I'm going back to the decorations rather than toys. So this one was not one of my favorite videos really, but I think that some of the ornaments were kind of cool. So what I did is I thought it would be fun to do a video where I make a Christmas ornament using every saw in my shop. So there's actually an ornament for using my reciprocating saw, you know, my Sawzall and scroll saw and well, everything on there. And I don't know, it's sort of clever, and I think a couple of these ornaments look pretty cool. A couple of them, I just kind of phoned them in, I think. but they're not too bad. So this is my holiday ornaments collection from a few years ago sometime, and I got watch at the very beginning of this. I got really artsy. I'm like, I'm painting the scene here by walking across the street and pulling a log from across the street that I'm going to I'm going to saw up. So anyway,
what is the transition this time?
Transition this time. I think I'll stick with the cube zoom. I like the cube zoom. Well, we could try something new. Here's fly.
Let's do fly.
Great. And let's see. And I got a couple of super chats. I'm going to thank you guys here in the next break, in the next non-commercial break. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Okay, here comes the fly. Oh gosh, I almost did the same thing. I almost went to black again. Hold on. I got to do the holiday ornaments. There we go. Whew, that was close. Okay, here we go. Bunch of holiday ornaments. Well, that was a lot of fun to just make this different variety of ornaments, and I hope it inspires you to make some of your own with whatever materials or tools you have. To hang these, I've screwed in an eyelet on some of these that I can thread yarn through, and others I just drilled a hole in. This one just hangs like that. I designed cutting templates for the 2 trees and for the scroll sawn 2015 ornament. If you'd like to download those, they're down in the description. And we're back. Don't you think it was the first ornament? I just kind of phoned that one in, though. I just took the reciprocating saw and just cut it into slices. Yeah. The other ones came out pretty cool. The scroll saw one I thought was pretty good. Somebody, a cool guy here, had a question if a scroll saw is a good alternative to a bandsaw, and I would say no, probably not. A scroll saw is really only good for certain specialized things, really decorative projects. I don't think a scroll saw is really a good woodworking tool, not to have one in a woodworking shop. It's really a specialty tool used for making decorative things, really. And whereas a bandsaw, you can, cut out large curves, you can make bandsaw boxes, you can think. The one drawback to the bandsaw, one thing you can do on a scroll saw that you can't do on the bandsaw is make a completely trapped cut, I guess that's what they call it. Where a bandsaw, you have to have an entry point, whereas on a scroll saw, you can drill a hole, insert the blade, and then cut out the inside of something. So that's one of the things you can do with a scroll saw. But no, in general, if I had to pick between the two in a general woodworking shop, I would get the bandsaw if you can afford one. Some of those can be pretty expensive. The scroll saw is like a lathe. Those two tools are not really woodworking tool. I know they're woodworking tools, but they're not really a tool that really is something you would normally use in most woodworking projects. Although a lathe, you could, potentially make table legs with them or those components to other projects. But usually people make them specifically for, they get them for making bowls or whatever. It's kind of a one-use tool. Anyways, I've got a bunch of super chats, people I want to thank who in the chat. All of you guys are amazing. It is so much fun reading the chat, and I hope you are enjoying. I hope Wyatt's doing a good job over there, and and he's answering most of your chat questions. And I want to thank Gregory Fink and Prasad Tindalkar. Both of them, right. Prasad did too. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Kitsch Tango. And I got to say, I love the name Kitsch Tango. It's just awesome because I just imagine a really kitschy tango, just like it says. And, my favorite, Raider Nation. Thank you, Raider Nation. And are you still going to be a Raiders fan when they move to Las Vegas? I'm still a little sore about that whole thing, but... yeah, I'm still a Raiders fan, but this year's not too bad. They're actually doing pretty good. But wow, 49ers though. How about them Niners? Yeah, that's pretty cool. So they're both fun teams to watch. But yeah, it's going to be a shame. This is the last year Raiders are playing in Oakland, and it's kind of like the last team that actually has kind of a hometown feel. I guess Green Bay is sort of like that, kind of has their own, culture around them. And once they go to Vegas, the Vegas Raiders, they just, Anyways, and also, was that all?
I think that's about it. Somebody just asks, what does a wooden turkey taste like?
It tastes like wood, I guess.
Probably tastes like splinters.
Yeah.
That said, it's probably less dry than a regular turkey.
Probably. I know. I'm not a fan of turkey. I like cranberry sauce and stuffing, I guess.
And the pineapple stuff.
Yeah, we've got everybody has like a traditional food they have. In my family we have, and this goes generations back, is this, and it's basically a dessert, but it's not a dessert. It's served as a side dish, but it's called a pineapple bake, and it's like a casserole, but it's pineapples, and it's just good. I don't know what's in it, but it's really good. And so it's like the thing, you got to have that. So really, I just want to play to that. You can keep the turkey. I just want to play to that stuff and some cranberry sauce. I like the chunky cranberry sauce.
Yeah, but you're also wrong.
It's the chunky versus smooth debate. Okay, let's move on here. Once again, thank you all for joining me on this Thanksgiving live stream. I hope you're having fun here, and I hope this isn't cutting into your eating in any way. So the next project I wanted to show, and this is going to be like the shortest one. This is the one. It's 1 minute and 6 seconds long. That's what happens when you removed all the sponsored junk. And so this was a video I made with American Express. And it was like this really convoluted thing. They wanted me to make 4 videos where I would showcase a project, but they would send me things and they say, okay, use these for inspiration, and then we've got to tie it into like another channel. In this case, it was like a cooking channel or something, and I don't know, it was just really bizarre. But so anyways, I removed all of that junk and what you're left with is a 1 minute long video. And this is it's a gift box, and I really think this box is cool. So it's a rustic box that is just made from old plywood pieces, and it's got a sliding top on it, and you can put a wine bottle in there, and I think it looks really cool with the inkjet transfer over it. And I took wood stain and then sanded the stain down and put the transfer on there, and it just looks like a really cool box. And I just realized that my description of the video is actually longer than the actual video is going to be. I don't know. But anyways, here's the video. This is the wine gift box. Don't blink. Boom! No fancy transition there. I just did a cut. What'd you think? Did you catch the video? It was world's fastest video. It was almost a Vine. How many people remember Vine? Remember that? We had, yeah. It was like, they thought it was going to be a YouTube kind of competitor in a way. They had, how long were a video you could post?
Like 6 seconds and something.
Yeah, it was like 6 seconds in every video. And there were people who were just making money off of Vine. It was a weird thing. But they went out of business, and who knows what's going to happen with YouTube. So let's see, the wine gift box is done. What do you guys want to see next? You want to see I think the building blocks cart would be a good one. Let's get back into a toy project. So, excuse me, I hate to be clearing my throat like that. This building blocks cart is I think it's a fun toy project, and it's a fun thing for little kids to play around with. So you've got the cart, and then the little blocks in there of different shapes. And this is a project that would be great if you had a bandsaw. You can make these, and probably some good sanders to work out those curves and paint them bright colors. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention is people, and I actually put a little notice in the videos when I was re-editing them. People always ask about projects for kids, toys. Is it safe to use paint on those or any kind of finish? And I looked into this over the years, and I just re-looked into it last week when I was putting these together, just to double check to make sure that this is safe. And it is. And you can check on there's various resources that talk about it's not food safe, child safe, non-toxic paints. And basically your regular paints, Rust-Oleum, Krylon, you know, the stuff I use from Ace Hardware Store, all of those paints are safe as long as you're not, you know, drinking them. You don't want to eat those, you know, just spray it. Nobody would do that. But once those paints are dry, they're perfectly safe. There's no lead in them, and they're non-toxic to kids. So I wouldn't worry about spray painting projects. And, you know, if you're making a bunch of building blocks, you want them to be bright colors. I think that's going to be a lot more fun to kids. So here is the cart with a bunch of building blocks. Oh, I called it the building blocks cart. That's probably a better way of saying it. Okay, here we go. This is just gonna be a hard cut this time. Ready? The cart itself is just a simple box. You could build it out of plywood if you like, but I'm gonna use 3/4 inch pine boards. One thing that's important with children's projects is to make sure all the boards are just sanded over nice and smooth so that there's no sharp edges. I want the two sides to extend beyond the ends about 1/4 inch. To make that a little bit easier to set up, I've cut a 1/4 inch piece of MDF. I'll use it as a spacer. And I'll secure it with a few nails. I'm gluing these braces on the underside of the cart. Fine tune it with this 2-inch spacer. Most of the building blocks are the same width, so I'm going to rip those all at the same time. I think I can save a little bit of time if I ease over all of these sharp edges before I cut the blocks to their lengths. If you have a thin enough blade, you could use your bandsaw to cut out these arched pieces. I'm going to use my scroll saw. This 1/4 inch thick panel will fit on those braces. For even more variety, I'm making some of the blocks a 1/2 inch thick. If you don't have a planer, you can just make more of the 3/4 inch blocks. I'm going to use screws for the wheel axles, and they're going to go right through these two braces. I need to mark where those go really carefully so that they're even. I'm marking a point a 1/2 inch up from the bottom and then aligned with the brace. With my drill press set at its slowest speed, I've got a 3.5 inch hole saw to cut out the wheels. This 1/4 inch piece gets glued onto the bottom. Colors! I'm going to put the wheels on now using these rather large screws. I've got a fender washer that I'll put between the wheel and the cart. Then I'm going to run this screw through the wheel and screw it in. I want to get it to where it's tight and the wheel won't spin, and then just back it off a little. This is about a 3-foot piece of nylon rope, and I'll just tie it in like that. And I'll tie a knot on this side. I should point out also that spray paint is child safe once it's completely dry. I think this is a really good way to help teach kids sorting techniques, because I think there's a lot of different ways you can sort the blocks inside of this cart. To make it a little bit easier for you, I have included one method for sorting them in the plan. Of course, most kids will probably use this sorting method. Okay, all cleaned up. If you'd like to make your own cart and blocks, check down in the description for a free set of plans. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. That's one of my favorite parts of that video is the end of it. I thought that was pretty funny. What kids are going to do, they're not going to sort those cards. They're going to just pile them, or those blocks, they're just going to pile them all into that cart. So it's so weird for me to watch Fat Steve in these old videos. I don't like watching those very much. It's really uncomfortable. But anyway, a couple of shout outs I want to give to Brian Larson. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. And Davin, really appreciate it. Also, it's really cool you guys are doing that. I really wasn't expecting that, but I really appreciate it. And thank you for watching the live stream. Again, if just a reminder, I've cut out all of the junk from these videos, so there's no sponsored spots in them. I just wanted to kind of get these down to what they are, the essence of the holidays. It's my Christmas gift to you, and thank you for being such a wonderful viewers. Oops, I'm just shaking the cameras there. Okay. So I hope you're enjoying that. And if you do want to support this, just give it a thumbs up. I think that helps a lot. That's my theory, anyways, is that those likes help videos, but who knows? I don't know. Okay, next project I want to show. Which one should I do next? I think I'm going to do the gift card holder. This is a cool project. Okay, if you're going to make one project, do this one. And it's really easy to make. If you've got a router and a router table, these gift card holders, everybody I've given them to, they just love them. And you can make a whole bunch at once. It's a great way to use up those little tiny scraps of maybe exotic wood that you have. And so the idea is you have a gift card you might want to give somebody, but make this cool little wooden box that it just slides into. And it just kind of makes it a little bit more special than just, giving somebody a gift card. So, also had somebody in the chat had a question, Scooter R3. Real quick, he had a question about if you can make a table saw by just turning a circular saw upside down and basically putting it on a plywood board or something. You can, but I don't recommend it. It's probably your best resource if you're really interested in doing that would be John Heiss over at iBuildit.ca. CA stands for Canada, not California. I always think it's California, but it's not. But anyways, you guys probably know John Heiss on the iBuildit channel, and he does these kind of things where he builds his own tools. And one of them he just recently did was a circular saw that he turned into a table saw. And so it takes a lot of really specific engineering to do it, and I don't recommend just like bolting a circular saw underneath a plywood board because there's a lot of problems there. First of all, you've got to have some sort of a riving knife on that. You've got to have some sort of miter slots that are going to be parallel with the blade, and you've got to have a rip fence on there also that's going to be parallel with the blade. And all of those things have to work together really well. Otherwise, you're looking at a super dangerous tool right there. I wouldn't want to do it, and I just think that it's worth it. And plus, to do it right, like what John does, it will probably actually cost you more than to make or than to buy a table saw. So that's just my thought on that. So a lot of homemade tools are really cool, and you are much more doable. But the homemade table saw, I wouldn't do it. You might try making a bandsaw like Matthias Wandel. He's made like 40 of those things, and those things are amazing. Okay, so we're going to move on to the gift card holder. Again, give this thing a shot. Really easy project, and I think you're going to like it. So here we go. Gift cards make great presents, especially for coworkers or for people who you just don't know what kind of things they like. But instead of giving them just the gift card, you can make it extra special by giving it to them in a handmade case. I'm going to use a straight bit in my router to carve out a real thin slot. I've raised it just to the thickness of this gift card. I'll clamp this board on to use as a stop block. I want to make the cut just the width of this card, so I'll just kind of line this up in the middle of the board. I can move my fence back to set the width of the card. I can test it out here and make sure that it's got a little bit of play in it. Now I can cut away this middle section. So I'll just make a few passes by moving my fence forward each time. I can test that out now, make sure the card fits well. If this unevenness down here bothers you, you could probably square that up with a chisel or something. I'm not going to worry about it. To help me cut out those very thin slices of wood, I'm going to make a simple sled using a piece of plywood and a 2x4. I'll screw the 2x4 on from the back of the plywood. Now I can square up this edge with the opposite edge and make them parallel. That gives me this nice square face to help me keep my fingers away from the blade. I'll attach this to my sled using hot glue. And I'll move it over to cut off one more slice. By slicing it like that, I can get a really nice grain matching along the edges. Before I glue this up, I want to test and make sure that the card fits in there snugly. I don't want it too loose that it's going to just fall out. A little loose. So what I can do is just sand down these edges a little. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good fit. It slides in pretty easily but doesn't come out when I tip it over. And with that dry, I can carefully trim this down to a smaller size. I can't really test the depth of the slot using the card, so I'm going to use this piece of cardboard. Looks like I can cut quite a bit off here. I'm using my spindle sander to cut out the finger pull. You could also use a saw. And I'll finish these with a few coats of spray lacquer. If you're gonna make these, you might as well make a whole bunch because they're so simple. I made this one out of a 2x4. This is black palm, which is really difficult to work with, but you know, it looks kind of cool. This orange colored wood is Paduk. These are my favorite. This wood is called Bocote. This is a good project to try out some exotic woods, or use some of that exotic wood you've been saving because you haven't found a project good enough for it. And we're back. Isn't that cool? Don't you like those things? I mean, those, I want to make some more of those myself. I think that this just, it's such a fun project to make, simple, and you know, people love them. And I'm telling you, people love handmade gifts. You give them anything like that, and they'll keep it forever because nobody does this stuff anymore. Well, nobody but us, but and I shouldn't say nobody because a lot of people do, but it's still a very small segment of the population who actually builds things by hand and makes things. So it's cool. And I always like to say, no matter what you make, no matter how good you think you are at making it, it's way better than what everybody else is doing because they're not making anything. And so you give somebody a handmade gift and they're just automatically going to love it. So let's see, we got a couple more super chats I want to thank. I want to thank Tim Catrone. Thank you. DIY nurse. I like that. Yeah.
I don't want to trust a DIY dentist, though. That sounds like a bad time.
DIY dentist would be a little bit,
it's
yeah.
Like, get your own recreational dentistry kit. Oh, no.
And I want to thank the X-Man family. Thank you guys all. I hope you guys are having a great Thanksgiving. I really appreciate your support of the channel. And let's see, what do we got? We only have 2 videos left. This is almost over. This is going so fast. So I've got, the next one I want to do is my piggy bank. Some of you will probably remember this project going back, also probably I don't think I wrote down the date on this, 2013. So this one goes back a way too. My favorite part about this piggy bank, and you'll see it in the video, is how I made the slot on this thing. And it's really cool because I just used the, in my last break I was talking about how a bandsaw has to have an entry point. So I just used that entry point to kind of create the slot. I thought it was really cool, except the slot goes across the back of the pig, but it doesn't seem to make any difference. And the only other thing I struggled with on this one was how to do his tail. But the tail really came out cool because I just painted it on, and I think it's like super, super cute. Hope you enjoy the piggy bank from 2013. Okay, and here we go. Ready? Oh, wait, should we pick a new transition?
Yeah, pick a new one.
All right, let's do. Now I'm kind of. They're all looking kind of boring here. What do you think?
Ooh, Stinger 1. That sounds interesting.
Where's that? Oh, Stinger 1.
Stinger 1.
All right, I don't know what this does. We're
shot.
going to find out. Are you just going to sting?
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Piggy bank. It's a piggy bank. He's super easy to make. I've got free plans, and I want to thank Janae Myers for the inspiration to build this project. Wait, I got to cut back into that. That is not a stinger. How do you call that a stinger? It's just like, it was like a dissolve, right? Well, how can they get away with calling that a stinger?
No.
Okay, I can't let that survive. I got to pick a different transition. We're doing fly rotate. Fly rotate. This better be better. This better be better than.
This has to be better
than the.
Awful.
Okay, let's try this again. You know what? I'll just rewind the video back to the beginning. Right here comes the piggy bank video. Boom. It's a piggy bank. He's super easy to make. I've got free plans, and I want to thank Janae Myers for the inspiration to build this project. First, I'm going to glue up these two boards for the cutout on the inside of the bank. Since most of this gets cut away, I can just clamp this together by screwing it together. Now over at my bandsaw, I can cut out the center of the bank. The entry point of my bandsaw is going to become the coin slot. And that slot is just wide enough for a quarter to fit into. I'm going to sandwich that piece between two larger boards. I think I'll glue each half of this up separately. While that's drying, I'm going to get started on the pig's face. Here I'm shaping his ears and giving him some nostrils. I'm rounding over the edges of his face and snout. I'm going to epoxy his ears onto his head. And look at his nose too. I got a little bit of a tricky problem here to figure out, once I put this other piece on, where to position the cutout. What I'm going to do is just kind of make a mark. So my thought is now I can glue this on and even it up with the sides. Well, with that, you can tell it's really starting to look like a pig. Now I can line this template up to the edges. I can drill a hole in the underside of the pig. I picked up this little plastic grommet at the hardware store. Now I can glue his head on. I had a couple of ideas for making his tail. I tried curling a couple of different types of wire, and while it looks okay that way, it seems rather flimsy, and actually this might poke a child's hand. And I thought about cutting some sort of a spiral out of wood, but I think it would break off real easily. So in the end, I think I'll end up just painting a curly tail on him. In the end. I'm going to give him a base coat of pink paint. I've included this drawing in the plans in case you want to try to copy this face, or you can just come up with your own. I'll try to sketch this out first and then apply the paint. I'll give the bank some protection with a few coats of spray lacquer. And that's all there is to the piggy bank. Super easy and fun project. Again, check in the description. I've got free plans. There's his tail. It'd make a great gift for a kid or an adult if you want to save up some money. I'm hoping I can fill this up and send my son to college. And we're back. That was the fly rotate that time. I think that worked better.
Yeah, it wasn't just boring.
Boring. It was a dissolve. It wasn't a stinger at all. Hey everybody, welcome back to the live stream. I have one video left to show you, and then we'll wrap up. We'll wrap this dog and pony show up. And I thought I would do is the what's it called? Santa's Mailbox. That'll be the next one. But first, I want to thank Stuart Aylward for your super chat. Thank you, Stuart, and greetings from across the pond. I assume you were across the pond because pounds came in. And thank you all for joining me and just for your nice comments, and it's really fun. And I'll be back after this video. We can chat a little bit more. So this was Santa's Mailbox, and so it's sort of a toy, but it's also decoration. It can go either way, and I think it's really cool. And then the little flag goes up. My thought was it would be fun for little kids to they could write a letter to Santa and maybe do it like every day for a week or something. And then they would raise the flag up, and then you go in there, take out the letter, and then you'd give them a gift every day. Maybe a little gift, not like a PlayStation or something, but something small every day, for like leading up to Christmas. So they get like little gifts, sort of like the Advent calendar, except not rotting chocolate candy.
Something good.
Right,
like
something good.
Socks or beef jerky.
Not a pair of socks. No kid would want this. Beef jerky. That's his thing. Every year.
Thing, yeah.
That's our tradition. Is we give him beef jerky.
Yeah. Our thing with him is to give him those little flossers, ones you just kind of go.
Don't ask.
It's a weird story.
I obsess over my teeth and keeping them flossed, and I don't know. Okay, so here's the Santa's Mailbox, another fun, decorative / sort of a toy project that I hope you'll enjoy. And this will be the last one. Come back. I'll be here again after this video. We'll wrap this all up, okay? Hey, guess what? It's time to start thinking about holiday projects. And you'll want to get started on this one as soon as you can, since it gets used in the days leading up to Christmas. I cut a bunch of these scrap boards down to length. Now I need to cut 11¼ degree bevels on two edges of most of these. Gluing all these strips together to form this curve is going to be tricky. I think the solution is just to glue together a couple at a time. I don't really have a good method for clamping these together. Even rubber bands would be awkward, but the weld bond does a pretty good job of holding boards together without clamps. A piece of tape might help a little. I need to glue together more boards to make wide enough panels for the door and the base. Of course I could use plywood for these and it'd be a lot easier, but I want to use up some of these small scraps of lumber. These pieces will be the door and then the back piece, and I want to cut it out to this shape, but I want there to be a lip around it, so I want to match this curve but about a 1/4 inch bigger. I'll use this washer as a guide. I'll hold this flag in place with a screw. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's project. If you'd like to make Santa's mailbox, I've got a free set of plans down in the description. What do you think? That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? The Christmas box, the mailbox. Hey, I want to thank Zeno Ert from Holland. Thank you for your super chat. I really appreciate that, and that's really cool. We're watching from Holland. I think that's amazing. I would love to go to Holland sometime. And Shane O'Reilly, thank you so much also. And that's all of the Christmas videos I have to show you. I do have other Christmas videos, but these are the ones that I think are, I like these projects probably more than the other. You can come over. These are the good ones. You can come over if you want. So that wraps it all up. What is it? How come you look so small there?
Maybe I'm standing further away from the camera.
Maybe that's it. You do look pretty small. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this Thanksgiving romp we had here. And, you know, I think if there's one thing that I'm thankful for, it's that I have a career that lets me reach this many people. It's really an amazing thing to me. And, you know, as I'm in my 11th year of doing this now, it just gets better and better every year. And I think it's really cool. I think the coolest thing about my job is seeing how it affects other people. And that's really kind of the best reward that I have, is to see people who are learning woodworking and who are starting woodworking, and people who never thought that they could do it before are doing woodworking. And it really had, over the years, has just become my mission to help people along and to show people that you can do this without these huge shops and you know, these so many tools everywhere, so many tools people have. And it's a really fun hobby. And again, if you are interested, if you're just watching and you're thinking about woodworking, I would say give it a shot. It's not too expensive to get started. Head over to my website at theweekendwoodworker.com and you'll get some information there. And I've got a new course coming out that you might be interested in signing up for too, that's coming up soon. And if you sign up, if you just download that tool list over there, and that'll get you on the list, the mailing list, so you'll be alerted and notified when that next course comes out. And we're going to make a launch announcement pretty soon, coming up in, I forget my whole calendar of events here, but I think it's in the next couple of weeks we've got that. So, follow me over on Instagram. And of course, I'll be making announcements on YouTube. And this is going to be this is my best course ever that I'm doing this time. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. I keep looking at it and thinking, I can't believe I did all of this on there. So anyways, I don't want to keep plugging that too much. Mostly, I just want to thank you guys for being here and joining me, not just on this live stream, but joining me on Woodworking for Mere Mortals, and especially for those of you who have been with me over the years. I really appreciate it, because I know a lot has changed over the years, and I've changed, and YouTube has changed, and woodworking videos have changed.
Everything has changed.
It's constantly changing, and it's always, for me, it's always a matter of trying to stay on top of all of that and just kind of, try to stay in touch as much as I can with my audience. And I think as a creator, if you could at least do that much, keep the audience you have, and obviously try to build that audience, but stay in touch with them and make that your priority, then I think no matter what all happens, all these other changes that occur, you still have that core that you're connected with. And I think that's kind of the key to life. It's the key to woodworking. It's the key to YouTube and life. There you go. And I hope you guys enjoy eating on Thanksgiving. And for those of you who aren't in America, it's just a strange holiday we do on one Thursday in November every year.
Thursday in November.
Fourth Thursday of November. And we just eat. It's a holiday about eating and watching football, and there's a parade.
And then at night, you get to go out and punch someone because you have a TV that's like $200.
That's right.
That's how it goes, right?
Black Friday. That's right. Because Black Friday is now like an entire month, I think. It's already started. It's not even Friday.
Yesterday, some places.
I know, it's crazy. But enjoy your family and enjoy your time. And if you can, get out into your workshop and spend some time there. We all need a little solitude. We need some time to ourselves, and we need some time to think. And I think building things is one of the best ways to do that. So I think we'll just wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on my channel. Follow me over on Instagram to keep up with the latest. Bye, everybody.